Then Rey agrees to be the evil Sith Empress of the entire galaxy with the silliest head nod ever.
Yeah, that's a good take about sacrificing yourself to the supreme evil of all the universe. Let's use that one.
Finn tells Rose he's gonna kamikaze to stop the Empire, only this time with a different girl.
I'm all out of love. I'm soulless without you. I know you.
Jeez, this isn't so much a love triangle as it is a love-human centipede. The Knights of Ren show up to stop Ren. Wait, what? Don't these guys serve Kylo Ren? It's in the damn name! I guess they serve Palpy or something. I guess it doesn't really matter, because Kylo has a blaster and force powers. I'm sure he'll easily be able to... Oh. So why'd he let them just walk up and beat him for no reason?
Stop asking.
I really shouldn't have thrown my lightsaber into the ocean like an idiot.
Rey fakes out like she's gonna kill Palpy for no reason, then dyads Kylo the lightsaber so he can just beat everyone up. The Knights are like,
Where did he get that lightsaber from?
and Kylo is like,
I know, it's silly.
I'm not making that up. He actually does that weird motion. Now something really weird happens in the fight. Kylo bends over facing his back to all the people trying to murder him, and he just kinda like sits there for a good 2 to 3 seconds, and then one of the Knights purposefully hits him on just the lightsaber instead of killing him. I don't know what's happening here. Was this like an outtake that they left in the movie? Then Rey pulls out Leia's lightsaber, and for some reason, Palpy cranes away and the Sith troopers move in. Even though Palpy's whole thing he just talked to her for the last 10 minutes is that he wants her to kill him. I mean, did it have to be specifically with Anakin's lightsaber? Why is this happening? What's happening? Nothing in this movie makes any sense. Now originally, I thought the blocking and editing for this scene was just incredibly awful, but then I realized there's actually something far more insidious going on beneath the surface. So let's analyze this. We see 5 Sith troopers approaching Rey, 3 from behind her and 2 in front of her. There's actually a 6th Sith trooper we can't see yet, so there's 3 troopers on each side of Rey. Now, this can get a little confusing, so I'll be labeling and referring to each Sith trooper by number. Sith Trooper 3, the guy behind Rey and to the right, fires. She deflects the laser to the right of the screen. We cut to a close-up of a Sith trooper getting hit by the blast. Now, judging by the angle of the laser, we would assume the trooper getting hit is to the right of Rey. But which trooper is that? In the wider shot, no trooper was directly to Rey's right. They were all either in front or behind. When it cuts back to the original shot, we see Trooper 3 behind Rey. The one who fired is actually the one that got hit, implying that Rey would have, I guess, had to have wanted style curved the laser around her in a 90-degree angle for some reason. Then we see Rey either pulls the same laser or a different laser, we don't know, back the other way, and it goes off into the distance to do nothing. Then she deflects a laser with her lightsaber, and that laser hits Trooper 2 and somehow bounces off of him and also hits Trooper 1. But even after that, somehow Trooper 2 is still okay even after being blasted. Fires at Rey again, and then she holds her hand up facing the opposite direction, so the blast should be hitting the back of her hand. But somehow she still manages to deflect the blast in front of her and hit one of the troopers in the front.
Well, this is a little bit of a clusterfuck, isn't it?
Now, you could be forgiven for thinking, wow, they really screwed up the blocking in this scene. But they actually didn't.
But I'm not done yet!
Call right now and you can get 2 terrible scenes for the price of 1. What am I talking about? Let me show you. See, after Rey takes out the 6 Sith troopers, they cut to Kylo fighting the Knights of Ren. But then, they cut back to Rey, killing the same 6 Sith troopers. Yes, they took different angles and different takes of Rey killing the same 6 dudes and tried to pawn it off as her fighting different troopers. Don't believe me? Let's compare side by side. First, Rey pushes her hand to the right. In version B, we see she also pushes her hand to the right. However, instead of deflecting a blast from behind her at this awkward angle like in version A, she's actually force pushing Trooper 4 so that he shoots Trooper 3. We suddenly understand what was up with the screwy blocking in the first version, because she's not actually supposed to deflect a laser to the right. The second sequence also explains the JFK magic laser. It might look confusing because the angles are different, but the reason Trooper 3 blows up behind Rey is because he's this guy. He's supposed to be the guy Rey is making Sith Trooper 4 shoot. See, when we get a wider shot, we can clearly see the position of the 6 troopers, and how Trooper 3, who got JFK'd in version A, is the guy behind Rey and furthest to the right. And in version B, the guy behind Rey and furthest to the right is the guy she caused Sith Trooper 4 to shoot. So yes, they are both Trooper 3. Version B is the way the fight was supposed to be, and version A is a weirdly edited version to make it look like 2 different fights. But let's continue. Now in version A, we see Rey whips her hand back to the left, though strangely the laser she controls goes nowhere. In version B, we can't see what Rey is doing from this angle, but Trooper 4 gets exploded by something. If you watch Trooper 2 in both sequences, you see he raises his gun at the same time, meaning that even though we can't see what Rey is doing from this angle, she's whipping her hand to the left in version B, just like she did in version A. So how much do you want to bet that Rey is supposed to be flinging the laser back at Trooper 4? That would explain why there's this weird Rey throws a laser nowhere in version A. They had to have something happen to match her hand motion. Then in both sequences at the same time, Rey begins spinning her lightsaber around to deflect the blasts. Version A has the confusing Rey deflects a laser that bounces off of Trooper 2 to hit Trooper 1, but Trooper 2 somehow doesn't die. But in version B, we see both Troopers 2 and Trooper 1 fire at Rey at the same time, and she deflects each blast back towards the other trooper. So you don't need a weird double ricochet hit. Now to further cement that this is the same scene, watch Trooper 2. In version B, he manages to dodge the laser Rey deflects toward him. See how he kind of ducks towards the left? Now watch the same part in version A. If you ignore the sparks, you can see he actually makes the same exact motion. He ducks his head towards the left. If we accept that version B is the correct version, him dodging the laser would explain why he manages to not die, even though he gets a direct hit in version A. And there's a reason they needed Trooper 2 to stay alive, which you'll see shortly. Now version A has the weird Rey deflects the laser forward with the back of her hand part. But if we look at version B, we see Rey raises her hand, not to deflect a blast, but to force smack and throw Trooper 5. That's the real reason Rey is lifting her hand in version A. It's to smack Trooper 5, not to backwards deflect Trooper 2's blast. In fact, this cutaway they use in version A is most likely the cutaway of Rey causing Trooper 4 to shoot Trooper 3 in the beginning of the fight, but just from a different angle. Then to end the sequence, Kylo shows up and kills Trooper 2 by hitting him with a sneak attack from behind. Poor Trooper 2. He managed to dodge multiple blasts from Rey and be an all-around all-star until Kylo got him with a sucker punch. But that's why they needed to keep him alive. They needed a trooper for Kylo to kill as he came into the scene. And if you still don't believe me that this is the same scene, then ask yourself, why aren't there 5 or 6 extra bodies laying on the ground? I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe after the fight, Rey just healed them all off screen. But unlike Kylo, they didn't become good. So she just killed them again. Anyways, Kylo shows up and Rey is like, "Damn, I left you alone to die in the middle of the ocean. Why are you here?" Wait a minute, why is she acting surprised that he's here? She just handed him a lightsaber 2 seconds ago. Then Kylo and Rey are like, "We're gonna take you on, Palpy." And he's like,
"Hello, this is the part where I kill you."
And just grabs him with the Force. Makes you wonder why this doesn't just happen in every fight. Some energy bounces off them and hits Palpy's fingers, healing them. So then he finally realizes that they're a dyad.
Oh, that just cleans right off, does it? Well, that would have been good to know a little earlier.
Somehow he can sense everything happening everywhere across the galaxy, but didn't know that Rey and Kylo were a Super Force dyad, even though he was controlling Snoke, who was supposedly setting up the Skype calls between Rey and Kylo in the first place.
Young fool. It was I who breached your minds.
Wait a minute, how are they still doing that in this movie with Snoke dead?
Stop asking.
Wait, how did Kylo even know they're a dyad?
What Palpatine doesn't know is we're a dyad in the Force, Rey.
Okay, seriously, first off, what is that? What even is that?
Then Palps uses their plot device to restore his plot device, healing him.
You're in this together, aren't you? You've been playing me the whole time, both of you. Then you convinced me you're sworn enemies with your best friend over here?
You see, the idea of having Palpy being unable to be killed because then he could possess people would be a difficult and complicated situation for our heroes to handle that would require something other than just mindlessly blowing him up. So, you know, we can't have that. Just heal him up again. Meanwhile, a secondary character we barely knew dies.
Oh my god, who the hell?
The other pilots in a panic ask their commander what they're supposed to do. And Poe just starts crying and gives up.
Wow.
Poe really is the worst commander. But it's okay, cause Lando's here, and as I told you, he's the most competent man in the universe, and he just so happened to somehow find a fleet of like 1 million ships.
Incredibly convenient, isn't it?
Wait a minute, how did all those ships get through the tight corridors of the Evil Red space period? I guess the same way your horny boyfriend does. Fuck it. Then they show this random old guy flying with Lando. Is this supposed to be like a reference to a character in the OT or something?
Who even are you?
It's all fine, cause it just turns out that shooting the giant death cannon on the bottom of the ship makes the whole thing blow up.
Oh, how convenient.
If these ships can be instantly destroyed by shooting the cannons at the bottom, why don't they just do that to General Insert Ship instead of this convoluted ground assault? Then it turns out the Power Rangers somehow made it off the planet before it got blown up. Oh, okay, whatever. Wait, Babu Frick's alive! Palpy drains Rey and Kylo's dyad power and restores himself, though he barely looks any better than before. Shouldn't he look like prequel Sheev or something? Kylo gets up, but Palpy does a little poetry. This one's for your grandpa. If you could only use the Force to fly. Then Palpy shoots what can only be described scientifically as a metric crap ton of lightning into the air and just absolutely wrecks all the Resistance ships. I mean, it's not strong enough to blow up any main character ships and it just disables them while blowing up no-name ships, but it just wrecks them. Damn, Palp sure is strong. You'd think Luke or even Mace Windu would have gotten immediately vaporized by that level of power, and you would 100% completely not be able to block that with a lightsaber. Rey then looks up to see a geriatric senior shooting an absurd level of force lightning into the sky and starts to cry about how terrible the sequel movies have become and her future prospects as an actress. Will she be shunned just as Hayden Christensen was? Then Rey, in desperation, calls out to all the past actors of Star Wars to ask for career advice, and they give her a little pep talk.
It'll be okay, Rey. You can still have a career after Star Wars.
Fire!
And then she stands back up. Palpatine just force grabs her and kills her and wins the battle easily. Just kidding. Palpy then tries to force lightning her, even though every time he's force lightning someone, it's always backfired.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Excuse me.
Why is the Force Lightning now a tiny little thing, small enough to be blocked by a lightsaber, when before it was like Starship fleet-sized? What? Oh, cause it's lazy hack writing? Who wrote this movie with JJ? Let's see. Chris Terrio, writer of Justice League and Batman v Superman. What? Hey guys, I know The Last Jedi was very divisive, so we need to make sure we get this final movie right. Who should we get to help JJ write it?
How about that guy whose last 2 movies everyone hated?
Perfect.
Then Palpy says,
You are nothing. A scavenger girl is no match for the power in me.
which is kind of a weird thing to say when 5 minutes earlier he wanted to be all up inside her. And also because, you know, he's literally using the power he just absorbed from said scavenger girl. Palpy says he's all the Sith, and I assume he means this sort of literally, but then Rey responds by saying she is all the Jedi. Does she mean that, like, literally or metaphorically? Is Rey going full Avatar mode here? Is this a Jedi thing now? Then the second dumbest thing in the movie happens. Rey whips out a second lightsaber, and that allows her to push back against Palpatine.
That's not how the Force works.
Why would having a second lightsaber help in this situation at all? Like, just think about this for 2 seconds. Because apparently the writers didn't. If someone's shooting you with a fire hose, and you have one shield to block the blast, is suddenly whipping out a second shield gonna reduce the amount of force pushing against you? No, of course not. It would make absolutely no difference to the total amount of force pushing against you.
And all this science, I don't understand.
And it wouldn't suddenly give you more strength to push back. This is like dumb baby logic.
This is a film about space wizards.
No, shut up!
And before you leave a 10,000 word comment explaining exactly how the lightsabers deflect force lightning so it actually makes sense, number 1, none of this crap is ever explained in the movie, so I don't care.
I'm telling a story!
And 2, I actually looked up how Windu deflected Palpatine's force lightning according to all the complicated extended Star Wars lore. Apparently, it has nothing to do with his lightsaber, but was some special force ability called Vapad.
Man, that's a dumb name.
And is a mental state requiring the Jedi to channel their own inner darkness. So even with all the extended Star Wars lore, this dumb crap doesn't make no sense. Then when Rey starts pushing back, Palpatine drops the force lightning, grabs her with telekinesis, kills her, and wins the battle easy peasy. No, I'm just kidding. He just stands there like a complete idiot and allows himself to be killed by Rey. 'Cause you know.
What? Are you still alive? You are joking! You have got to be kidding me! Well, I'm still in control. Well, how about now? Now who's a moron? Ah!
Wait, I thought if Rey killed him, he would possess her. Was that only before he was healed? Does him being killed via force lightning somehow negate his possessing power?
You have to stop asking questions!
I guess those people weren't ghosts, because it looks like they're getting hit by rocks. So who are those people? Then Friendzone plugs a thing into a thing, which causes one of the Star Destroyer turrets to shoot on the bridge, blowing it up and disabling the rest of the ships.
Wait a minute!
Why would you need to be on the ship to do that? Couldn't any ship have just blown it up?
Stop asking questions!
Then all the ships literally start falling out of the sky. Because apparently not only did they need an external signal from another ship to tell them to go up, but to just remain aloft. Oh boy! And you thought the Death Star had a design flaw. Old Palpy happened to build a fleet of spaceships that not only can't go up, but can't even have their engines stay on without an external signal from another ship. I think it's time to hang up the old Sith robes, Sheev. Getting a little old there, partner. Friendzone saves Finn's life, but then Lando saves them both, cementing Friendzone's friendzone. Then Rey dies.
For some reason.
Whatever, she died to save everyone. Classic Jesus. Never mind, Kylo shows up and uses his new Jedi light side power to resurrect Rey. Classic Jesus. Then Rey kisses him. Ha ha! Get wrecked, Finn. Bad boy wins again. Never mind, Kylo then immediately dies. Equivalent exchange, biatch!
Wait a minute.
How come Rey was able to heal Kylo from dying and suffered no consequences or injuries, but now Kylo has to die for her?
That's a good question.
And the answer is...
Cause he's fuck ugly.
Then he becomes a Force Ghost. Because...
That's a good question.
And the answer... Fuck you!
You know, now that I think about it, the entire confrontation with Palpatine was not only pointless, but worse for our heroes. Think about it. If Rey and Kylo had never confronted Palptos, then he would never have been able to absorb their life force, meaning he wouldn't have been able to use force lightning on all those ships, killing all those people. If Rey and Kylo never showed up, he would have just had to sit in his crane, watching helplessly, as all his Star Destroyers got blown up, and he'd been like, damn, I wish two idiots would have shown up so I could have absorbed their life force and do something useful. Oh yeah, and also, Ben Solo would still be alive! Yes, our heroes confronting Palpy made things worse in every possible way, not better. And if she hadn't, the Resistance would have still won. They would have actually won better. Imagine being poor Friendzone. You literally saved the day by selflessly risking your life to destroy the enemy fleet control, and yet Finn is still thirsting after Rey, the girl who doesn't seem to care about him at all and goes off on her own to make everything worse. Now that's what I call white privilege. Now maybe you're saying,
yeah, but Sitch, in Return of the Jedi, Luke didn't need to confront Palpatine either. He would've got blown up with the Death Star regardless.
And that's true. But Luke's intention never was to confront and kill Palpatine. It was to try and turn his father back to the light side.
But why must you confront him?
Because there is good in him. I felt it. He won't turn me over to the Emperor. I can save him. I can turn him back to the good side. I have to try.
Sure, from a plot perspective, Luke's final confrontation doesn't affect the story much. But from a character perspective, he saves his father from the dark side, completing both their arcs.
So there's this old idea, that you have to rescue your father from the belly of the whale, right? From some monster that's deep in the abyss. You see that in Pinocchio, for example, but it's a very common idea.
But with Rey, Kylo has already been saved. Rey's only going after Palpatine for revenge. That unheroic dark side motive that Jedi shouldn't be acting upon.
He killed my mother and my father. Going to find Palpatine and destroy him.
And I slaughtered them like animals.
And because of that, Kylo dies. And all those other people die. The only thing that is accomplished is Palpatine is killed. But if that wasn't accomplished by thousands of Star Destroyers falling on his head, then the Resistance could have just landed their billion ships and just shot the weakened senior to death. When Luke goes off to save Vader, it's seen as like a sacrifice he's making, to try and save his father. And also Luke's confrontation with Vader, the Emperor, doesn't end up making things worse for anybody. When Luke confronts the Emperor, he's risking his own life, not everyone else's. In the final movie of the Star Wars sequel, the final confrontation with the final boss of Star Wars is not only completely pointless, but actually worse for our heroes. Good job! Well done!
Idiots!
Then Finn says people are rising up all over the galaxy. I'm sorry, but how do you know that? I guess Lando must have told him. That means Lando not only got this giant army together, but started a galaxy-wide rebellion off-screen. Holy crap! Why isn't the most competent man in the galaxy the main character, instead of these losers? I bet he wouldn't have had this idiotic horse plan. So we see a bunch of Star Destroyers from different places, all getting destroyed, for some reason. I guess the rest of the galaxy could have fought the First Order off at any time, and just didn't, cause whatever. Geez, maybe these people deserve to be taken over by the Empire. So the First Order is completely destroyed and we'll never see them or anything like the Empire again. Until the next trilogy movies. Poe gets Totes cock block, which actually makes no sense considering Power Rangers sacrificed her magic space token to get off the planet to Poe, and then presumably join the fight against the First Order for him. But no. No main characters in the sequel movies can have relationships for some reason. Wait, how did she get off the planet? The whole point of the magic space token. At least Mary is getting some. Oh yeah. Then there's the lesbian kiss. Oh, did you blink and miss it? And or in a country where it was censored out? How progressive, Disney. Orange Not Yoda gives Chewie Leia's medal that she gave to Han in the first Star Wars. It was like a pre-internet meme that he never got one in the originals, so I'm glad we could end our sequels on a meme, guys. Should have just ended with all the Force ghosts clapping and telling Rey congratulations at this point. Then Finn and Poe hug in some bro love. Don't worry, they've clearly established them both as having a case of the not gays. I mean, Disney is hashtag progressive, but they wouldn't actually risk money over having two main male characters be gay.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Then Friendzone wisened up, got sick of Finn's crap and decided to hit on the actual hero who saved the galaxy. Oh yeah, Lando still got it. Now, when I saw this in theaters, myself and the people I was with had no idea whether this meant Lando was about to find a new landing zone for his Millennium Falcon, or if this was supposed to imply she's his daughter. Apparently after the fact, it was explained she's his daughter, so I hope they find that out pretty quick, cause otherwise, boy, that's gonna be one awkward flyback to Cloud City. Then Rey, Finn, and Poe all hug in a big ol' 3B. Never mind, I take it all back. Disney is being progressive, promoting polyamory. But no, seriously, why don't Rey and Finn end up together? Why doesn't any of the main characters end up with anyone? Why does this end in this awkward, loveless bro hug? The last scene, Rey flies a Millennium Falcon to Tatooine. Wait, why does Rey have the Falcon? Shouldn't it belong to Chewie or Lando? Oh, I see. Chewie gets the stupid medal, but Rey steals his ship. Yeah, great. Rey visits Luke's old home and buries his and Leia's lightsaber there. For what reason? First of all, Leia has zero connection with this place, and I'm not even sure Luke looked back on his childhood fondly. But more importantly, isn't she going to train the next generation of Jedi? Shouldn't she pass down their lightsabers, like, as part of their legacy? Like Luke gave Leia's lightsaber to Rey? What the hell is this? Burying them is like JJ saying, "It's over!" The original characters shall never be mentioned again. They're dead and buried. Maybe that's a good thing. Then it turns out Rey at some point made her own lightsaber, and it's gold. Why? Why is this in the movie for literally 2 seconds?
Merchandising!
Some random old lady asks who the heck Rey is, and she sees Luke and Leia's Force Ghost, not Kylo's for some reason, and says, Rey Skywalker. Yep, apparently you are your family name. Any theme about carving your own path or your own destiny is thrown out the window. Wait, she didn't even have a positive relationship with Luke at all.
You think that I came to the most unfindable place in the galaxy for no reason at all?
Shouldn't she have taken Leia's last name? Geez, JJ, sure sounds like the patriarchy at work here. And to end it all, Rey looks off into the binary sunset, not with any person, but with her BB-8 droid. Because yes, what strong, independent woman would want to be in a relationship with a man when she has her trusty toys with her? Now I could go on for another 2 hours about everything wrong with Rise of the Skywalker, but instead I'll just focus on this. How incredibly pointless and ineffective our main characters are. This is another reason the movie felt so boring. See, normally you want your protagonist to be the force driving the movie, creating the events that ultimately lead to their success. But if you look at the order of events in Rise of the Skywalker, you'll see that our main characters are utter failures. Our heroes start by getting crucial information from a new, not established off-screen side character. Alright, it's pretty convenient and not really action-driven by our heroes, but this is just to get the movie going, so it's not too egregious. Then their next action is to go look for the Sith Wayfinder. Okay, it's typical quest stuff, no problem there. But then, on the first part of their journey, Lando, a side character who we didn't even know was going to be here, shows up out of nowhere and just gives our heroes the information they need. Our heroes don't have to work for it or do anything to get the information, other than just show up. Then they find the next important MacGuffin, the dagger. But again, our heroes are not actively pursuing the dagger and are rewarded for their efforts, just the opposite. They get blown up, almost die, and just accidentally and conveniently stumble upon it. Afterwards, at least, they have to take 3PO somewhere to decode the dagger, though even then, it's as simple as just showing up and having some other side character do the work for them. Then our heroes are again just given a magic plot device by another side character so they can board the Star Destroyer. But even after that, they literally have no plan. Our heroes just stumble around blindly until they find Chewbacca, and Rey conveniently just finds all the things she needed. Then when our heroes are captured because of their lack of a plan, they're not saved by their own actions, but once again by another convenient side character coming out of nowhere. Starting to see a pattern here? Then Rey finds out the most crucial and important information about her lineage that she's been questing for the entire series. Though she doesn't find this information out through any effort on her own, but she's just told this info, basically for free, by Kylo. Then our heroes crash land on a moon of Endor to, conveniently, find a yet unknown group of side characters to help them. Now at least Rey has to do some work to get the Wayfinder, so actual effort on her part is being expelled. But then Kylo destroys the Wayfinder, meaning everything our heroes have done, or rather everything that has been done for our heroes, so far in the movie was completely pointless and a huge waste of everyone's time. Then when Rey's about to finally lose a fight, she gets saved by yet another side character having some ability we didn't know about. Now maybe Rey gets some points for Kylo becoming a good guy, because she healed him, an ability we never saw her train for or expel any effort to learn. But even Kylo's turn seems to be mostly due to Leia and Ghost Dad, not Rey. Then Luke just gives Rey the answer she needs for where the Wayfinder is, after she completely gives up. And Luke also just gives Rey a new ship, after she stupidly trashed the one she flew in on. Then our heroes accidentally stumble upon the fact that the little robot BB-8 incidentally brought back to life just conveniently has all the information they need to fight the bad guys. Then our heroes utterly fail, both in their plan to attack the Star Destroyers and to attack Palpatine. Despite Finn and Poe's plan completely not working, Finn gains the necessary information to fix the plan through literal plot gods whispering secrets in his ear. Yet even that is not enough, and our hero's plan still sucks. All is lost. But don't worry, because another random side character comes out of nowhere to bail the heroes out and save everyone. So to put this into perspective, with the exception of killing Palpatine, which was mostly pointless, and our heroes made worse, and could have been accomplished by random side characters, our heroes did absolutely nothing of importance or value this movie.
If this mission fails, it was all for nothing. All we've done, all this time.
Congratulations, you're a failure.
They spent most of the movie chasing a MacGuffin that turned out to be pointless, all in order to kill a guy who wasn't that important to kill, while all the side characters did the actual work. BB-8 is literally more valuable to the story than any other main character in the movie because he randomly decided to turn Dio on. In Rise of the Skywalker, our main characters are utter failures.
Idiots doing idiot things because they're idiots.
They are not proactive heroes, grabbing the reins of destiny and shaping them to their will. They're cardboard cutouts, shoved into a rail cart and just dragged from place to place where things are happening around them. Now the million-dollar question: is Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker worse than Last Jedi? Yes and no. It really depends on what's more important to you. What I mean by this is that Last Jedi is worse in terms of what it means for Star Wars as a whole. Having Luke's character try to murder his own nephew based on a premonition, then becoming a grumpy old hermit who gave up on life, has dealt lasting, irrevocable harm not only to Luke's character, but to the entire Star Wars brand. That being said, for as bad as Last Jedi was, and it was bad, If we look at the movies completely isolated as their own things, Rise of the Skywalker is even worse. If we were to visualize all the plot holes, inconsistencies, and story failings of Last Jedi in some kind of visual metaphor, it would look like Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese that is more whole than not. And the cheese is actually dog poop. But comparatively, what would Rise of the Skywalker look like? Like this. Nothing. An empty void. There is no cheese, just the hole. Worse, it's a black hole, actively sucking up all plot and writing. Its gravity so powerful, so dense, that we can't perceive any information coming out of it. So take your pick between shit and oblivion.
Sweet oblivion! Open your arms!
So that's it! I was gonna talk about how Rey fails as a character, but I kind of already gave a summary of that earlier. I might do a separate video just on Mary Sue's, when they're appropriate and when they're not. We'll see. I know I haven't uploaded in a while. Those who don't listen to my weekly streams, I do weekly streams on politics every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern on PSA Sitch on Daily, link below.
He would tell you one thing and vote differently.
Yeah. My name's Adam Friended.
Cenk
Uger's lying to your face about what he believes, what he votes for. You can't trust Cenk Uger. What kind of name is Cenk? That's not a name. That's some sort of racial slur against Chinese people. Unlike Cenk Uger, I love Chinese people. I love the Chinese people here in California.
Might not know that the end of last year and the beginning of this year was dominated by a series of family health issues. And considering how long this video was and how much time it took to make, you get a content drought. The next one will be sooner. You know, unless... Now I want to draw your attention to this. Yes, this is real. Marvel Comics is releasing a new book that features heroes known as Safe Space and Snowflake. And no, it's not ironic.
The idea that these are terms that get thrown around on the internet that they don't see as derogatory, to take those words and kind of wear them as badges of honor. Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they, them.
So while mainstream comics are imploding, why not support independent creators? Myself and Adam Friended are currently working on a graphic novel called Supervillains Anonymous. In a future-perfect world where hunger and disease have been completely eliminated, a rebel band of supervillains struggles to return the world to its more dangerous and magnificent days. Right now, we're just collecting email addresses through Indiegogo and a link in the description. We're not going to spend the time and money required on the project unless you show you're interested. So make sure you sign up. And of course, a big thanks to all of my supporters who stuck by me through the drought. Anyways, see you all next time. The memes will finally end. All the memes will finally end because next week I will be releasing a main channel video for the first time in months, and it will be the longest edited PSA Sitch video in existence. But you'll see. You'll see. You all laughed at me. You all joked. You all mocked me, but you'll all see.